YouTube. What's up, y'all? Back with another fragrance video. And this video is a video that I've been meaning to shoot for a while. The problem is that I either didn't do the research that was required for the video, or I just wasn't in the mood to shoot the video. But now that I've got the time, I've got the inspiration, and I'm trying to shoot a bunch of content for YouTube because I've been slacking lately. I wanted to show you all a couple of fragrances from my nerd side of my collection. A lot of you know that I have a lot of fragrances, but I also have a lot of fragrances that I don't really talk about a lot, and they're from my comic book collection. They're from my superhero obsession. I have a lot of pop figurines from pop culture, movies, music, television, but a lot from comic books. I am a huge Marvel, DC, Valiant, all kinds of comic book fans, okay? I love animated books. So for me, these fragrances, all right, there goes Logan. These fragrances are gonna be an homage to that. The next few videos that I'm gonna upload actually are gonna be an homage to my love for comic books, my love for superheroes, and my love for that genre of fragrance. To my surprise, there was a lot of inexpensive fragrances available that were marketed toward children, young adults, really young adults, like preteens. But they were all superhero inspired. A ton of them were Spider-Man. So in this video, we're going to talk about 2 Spider-Man fragrances that I was able to find the notes list for, because I did a first impressions for Daredevil fragrance earlier. That's one of my earliest YouTube videos for fragrance. And if I'm being honest with you, it was impossible to find a notes list for that anywhere. So I couldn't do a proper review. I couldn't really talk about it because I didn't know what I was smelling at the time. Now I could probably revisit the fragrance, pick out a few notes because I know what certain things smell like and how to pick out certain notes in a fragrance. So I might revisit that in this series. But the first thing that I want to talk to you about are 2 beautiful fragrances from Corsair International and Airval International, respectfully. These fragrances are marketed toward children and preteens. It's SpiderMan Spidey Sense and Ultimate Spider-Man, which comes in this amazing lunchbox presentation. I'm not gonna lie, I bought this because I always wanted a Spider-Man lunchbox. And when I saw that this came in a tin Spider-Man lunchbox, I was like, yo, I could put my fragrance samples inside of this lunchbox. So it's multi-purpose. I haven't actually stored them in here yet because I'm using another tin. I'm waiting for it to outgrow the storage that it has right now. And then I'm going to toss all of them into this Ultimate Spider-Man tin. And I don't care how juvenile that makes me seem. This was a win in my book. This was like $10. So let's talk about these fragrances. Let's talk about what they smell like. Let's talk about if they're worth your time, if they're worth the few dollars that they charge, because these aren't worth more than 50. These aren't, I shouldn't say, these aren't more than like $15 fragrances. You can find them online for $10, $12, even $15. If you find a good deal, you can find them cheaper, of course. But these fragrances, I picked up in a super haul of superhero fragrances earlier this year. I've got a bunch of them that I'm going to do first impressions on. I haven't opened Venom, Spider-Man by another manufacturer because there's so many Spider-Man fragrances. Spider-Man Black, Black Panther, Deadpool Dark. What else do I have? I've got a couple Captain America fragrances, a couple Iron Man fragrances, bunch of Avenger stuff. So I've got all those fragrances to go through. Those are going to be in a separate video. Today, right now, we're going to talk about Spidey Sense and Ultimate Spider-Man. And Ultimate Spider-Man is actually made by Airval International. That is the company that makes this. And this fragrance has multiple bottle styles, multiple presentations. It comes in a square box. It comes in a lunch pail presentation. Sometimes it can have a transparent blue cap. Sometimes it has this black cap. Airval has a lot of different ways that they present the Spider-Man fragrance, but the notes list seems to be the same no matter what the presentation is. And I had to look so hard because this company's website is terrible. It is not user-friendly at all. It doesn't really tell you what fragrances, what notes belong to what fragrance. It just kind of throws them out there on the page. So it's a little confusing. But this is Ultimate Spider-Man by Air Valley International. The notes list for this fragrance contain orange, sandalwood, amber, lavender, mandarin orange, galbanum, which you get a lot of, petitgrain, and bergamot and lemon. The notes list for these two fragrances are super similar. A lot of these fragrances actually contain bergamot, lemon, lavender, because those are the really safe children fragrances. Those are the like calming, soothing, citrusy, safe fragrances that a lot of children's fragrances contain. But the composition of this one, I would say, is geared toward young adults. People who are still comic book fans, people who have gotten out of that age range where they're toddlers, they've gotten out of that age range where they're learning about personal care and fragrance. This is better suited for people who are still young at heart, maybe a preteen, teenager, like 13 years old, 12 years old, even 10 years old even. I would not get this, even though it comes in that awesome lunch pail. I wouldn't get this for anybody under 6. I wouldn't get this for anybody under 10 because it's a little sharp. It's a stronger fragrance compared to Spidey Sense. Something that, and it's the galbanum in here that makes it spicier. It gives it a boldness. It gives it a standout scent that is different from a lot of my other superhero fragrances that I've smelled. I smelled Daredevil. It's way softer. I smelled Deadpool. It's way soft. I smelled Black Panther. Super lavender, floral. Lily of the Valley is in Black Panther. This is a little more sharp, a little more distinguished. Between the two Spider-Man fragrances that I have smelled, because I haven't smelled that other Red Spider-Man or Spider-Man Black, and I'm not sure what manufacturer makes them, but I haven't smelled those. I haven't even opened the plastic. This Spider-Man fragrance by Corsair International, Spidey Sense, okay? My Spidey Sense is tingling. Can you see that? Did that focus there? Did that come into focus? No? No, doesn't come into focus there. My Spidey Sense is tingling, okay? This Spider-Man fragrance, Spidey Sense, is the softer of the two. This you can give to any age, any type of person, you little girls, little boys. If they're a Spider-Man fan and they like to smell orangey, sweet, citrusy, this is the fragrance to get. Let me tell you the notes breakdown for this version of the Spider-Man fragrance because it's a bit different and it's also sweeter, softer. In my opinion, it's the favorite between the two. I like this one because it is super safe. Don't get me wrong now. The parfum versus alcohol concentration in these is probably super thin. I'm talking, these are eau de toilette, and it's probably the minimum concentration that it needs to be. These can be eau de cologne. They have high alcohol concentration. They do have that sharp alcoholic burst when you first spray on the fragrances that some cheaper cologne scents or cheaper fragrance scents have. But they're still amazing scents, especially for fans of comics, young adults, young children. They would appreciate something like this. Let me tell you the notes for this Spider-Man fragrance, Spidey Sense. It is a citrus woody fragrance that contains notes of bergamot, orange blossom, petitgrain, right, is in this one too. Woods, musk, and vanilla, all right? Now that musk and vanilla in this, they become super apparent in the dry down when all that citrus fades. This fragrance is the safer wear between the two. When it comes to smelling them on little kids, you would probably prefer this one. I've seen some reviews on this one even. Like, there are moms, people who said, yo, man, I got this. It's got Spider-Man on it. My kid loves it, but it smells way more distinguished. It smells a little older. It smells a little more mature than a 5-year-old, 7-year-old should wear when they're learning about fragrance. So even though this one comes in a lunch pail, even though this one has the younger presentation when it comes to selling the fragrance to children or selling the fragrance or giving this as a gift, do not be fooled. This smells more mature. It smells a little older than Spidey Sense. And Spidey Sense, I'm telling you, smells so freaking smooth. When you get to the dry down, the woody vanilla fragrance in the end is super, super sweet, safe. Little kids will love it. Adults will love the way that kids will smell. This one, you might think a kid smells a little older than he looks, or a little older than they look. In case a little girl likes this, you know, little girls like Spider-Man too. Just out the nozzle, the petitgrain is really, really prominent. So is the galbanum. The spiciness is in this one. It's a little bit more mature of a fragrance, even though it comes in the younger presentation. As far as both of these fragrances go, the performance is average. They're not super concentrated. They don't last too long. Okay, they do not last super long. But they're not super, super short either. But they're also, you know, like really good gift ideas if you've got a young one that absolutely loves Spider-Man. They love to smell good. If you've got a teen, I would recommend the one that looks like it's for the younger presentation. Even though there's so much about this that screams tinier child, younger child. But if I'm being honest, this is the more mature scent. And this is the super safe, sweet, fresh, breakdown smelling, super fresh, dry down smelling, citrus fragrance that is safe for any child that absolutely loves to see Spider-Man on things, that loves to smell great. If you've got a kid that you're trying to teach, you know, grooming techniques, after shower grooming, this is the one that you want to go for. Spider-Man Spidey Sense. I'm going to have a link in the description. You could pick this up for like $12 from Amazon. Super, super affordable. Super affordable. This is also super, super affordable, but I wouldn't say that this is the recommendation, okay? This one is the recommendation. This one is just an interesting scent in case you're like me, you're a comic book fan, you like Spider-Man, you like all things Marvel. This is going to be something that you might want to get your nose on. Two very similar but distinctly different Spider-Man scents. Now, do I know if the next two are going to be, you know, starkly different from these? I have no idea. I haven't smelled them yet. But I've also got videos coming up on Spider-Man and Spider-Man Black in completely different presentations from a different manufacturer. So, thank you for checking out this video with my Spider-Man fragrances that I've checked out from my collection so far. First impressions coming soon of Spider-Man, Spider-Man Black, Venom, Deadpool Dark. We got a bunch of Marvel fragrances coming up, y'all. Captain America Dark, Captain America, Iron Man, Iron Man Black. I got a lot of Marvel fragrances and they're coming your way soon. Thank you for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it informed you a little bit more on these Spider-Man fragrances, these comic book fragrances, and we got more content like this coming your way soon. Thanks for checking it out. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.